Hey everyone, it's Norm from Tested here, and I could not be more excited for what we have in studio today. I want to introduce you guys here to Schubert Tam. You are a hero of mine, sir.
No,
Schubert here is the founder of X06, and also you wear many hats. You're the creative lead developer, and basically it's a company that makes, as you see before us, 1/6 scale figures in Star Trek, specifically Star Trek.
Yeah. Just Star Trek, nothing else.
Now, right now, this weekend, as you're watching this, Schubert, you're in Chicago for Mission Chicago,
Yes.
which is the big Star Trek convention happening this month. And there, you're bringing dozens of prototypes and newly announced products, right?
Correct.
You've brought a few of them here today, and so what I wanted to do before you head out to Chicago is kind of pick your brain about what it takes to make one of these, what it takes to develop and have a version of Picard, whether it's from First Contact or from the show, one of our favorite episodes, and turn those into physical things that we can have in our homes. Some of these products have already been released. Can you tell me a little bit about what's already out right now in the X06 world?
Okay, data is already out. That is last year. Okay, and then after that we have First Contact Picard, and after that is Captain Janeway, EMH, and then Mirror Spock. That was for those are for last year.
So in crafting a likeness, you work with artists, right?
Yes.
Like you're not the artist yourself, but you work with digital modelers, you work with painters, sewists to create the costumes, and you give them a direction. You take reference images.
Yes, especially Picard. When like I mentioned earlier, I want a different Picard.
Right.
Okay, different stage. So when I talk with the artists doing Picard, I want them to think about First Contact.
Yeah.
I ask them to watch it. Okay, sink into it. Okay, I want a Picard that is mean. Okay, I want a Picard that we never seen, just like in the movie. Okay. I mean, he was doing everything that he doesn't want to do.
He's vengeful.
He told people, don't do this, don't do that, and he did everything.
Yeah, the line must be drawn.
Right?
Yeah.
So I want him to do a Picard at that stage, okay? And then after we did this one, and then we move on to a different part, okay? We did Locutus, okay? Locutus is a younger one, okay? So we did another one, a mono without any expressions, okay? And then we're gonna go to do the fanboy, the poster boy Picard. Okay, that is the TNG version.
Right. With the tunic,
confidence,
yes.
very confidence
The car maneuver, pull the red shirt down. Absolutely.
Yeah. So and eventually, we would do an old Picard, and we did one already. Okay, same thing. I want the artist to think, okay, Picard is going into redemption. Okay, the eyesight has to be changed.
Interesting.
Okay?
So when you're working with artists and you're modeling, it's not just about a likeness for age, right? Patrick Stewart, what he looks, you're also trying to tell them what the intentionality is. Like you said, this Picard is determined, he's vengeful, he's maybe a little bit broken, right? And it reflects the feeling of what you saw in that 2-hour movie.
Correct. We'll try to do it, of course. These are all handmade stuff, items. We might not able to achieve what I want, but when we focus like prime directive, everybody has a prime directive
Your
there.
prime directive is to...
It doesn't matter, okay? As long as we get there, okay?
Okay.
We reach that point, has to be good, As long as we have that prime directive in mind.
Yeah, and because of your ambitions to do this the life story of a character, you're not locked down to a neutral pose. Sometimes if a company is just going to do one version of a character, it has to capture every emotion that character feels or is seen through or the fans watch through. Here, you can be very focused.
Yes. Because the way I look at it, Star Trek is a culture. Culture means time, right? You need a certain amount of time, okay? It won't work, okay? One figure cannot cover everything.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Star Trek has a long history, so I have to sectionize it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, not only the actor's performance and their relationship with this character, we're talking about Patrick Stewart having played this role for 30 years now, right? But also the fans, younger fans, older fans, their relationship. What I think about when I watch Next Generation on TV when it was syndicated, and my relationship to those characters too.
This is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
We try to capture the essence of the expression or the character and bring it out from 1/6 scale figures, materialize them.
Well, speaking of materials, I do also want to talk about the uniforms because it's something that we've seen fans make replicas of the uniforms. There have been different, even within every show, different versions of those uniforms. How do you approach something like doing the cut and sew for First Contact, what Cisco here, for example, is wearing, and scale it down and have it different than what the fabric you choose for the flight suit, the jumpsuits for Voyager and Generations.
Okay. Do you mind I give a little bit of a background about fabric?
Sure.
Okay. I started out 10 years ago doing my own figures. Okay. That time I choose any yellow color as the command gold, any blue as the command. Okay. By the time I receive those figures, I look at them, they don't look right. Okay. So I start going into get online, get involved with those cross-player.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that really into uniforms, that will yell at me if I got like 2 millimeters short or some certain things. Okay. I got them involved. Okay. I got involved with them. Okay. And they start teaching me about uniforms. Okay. And I start looking at that. And because my family background is from is textile, so I have a little more knowledge. And from there, I start moving into uniforms and start getting the correct colors. Okay, and start getting into that forever argument about set and screen accurate color.
Well, let's talk about that because we were talking about this earlier. There's a difference between how the shows were broadcast, whether in the original days shot on film, lit in a certain way, broadcast over TV, to the video releases, the DVD releases. But that may not be what we saw as fans on the TV. May not be exactly what those colors were in real life.
Yes, correct. I mean, you are a videographer. You know that.
Yeah,
color
we can change the
correction
color.
will affect the color. I mean, the light, what light to use, okay? I mean, what was the Kelvin, right? You call it Kelvin, right? Will change the tone of the color. Okay. Green at certain spectrum will change to yellow because they're right next to each other in the color grade. So that's why in the original series, Kirk original uniform is more like green than yellow, okay, in the actual set.
Yeah.
But by the time it got into our TV screen, it became yellow. And the way we look at the color from a TV screen will be affected by the surrounding lights too.
Right.
So nobody actually have a correct screen color. They all have their own, okay? And then there's set, that's the original, that's how they was made, right? So that's why I chose the path to follow set accuracy.
Okay.
Okay.
As if you were on the set, a miniature version of what was actually made, the costume made for film.
Correct. And I find out, I think we discussed that before, about the fabric. The fabric thread will make a difference on the color because you have shadows in between.
Yes.
And you darken the color. This has been considered in my figures.
Right, like the texture. I look at the texture of the blue and the red here on Doctor and Janeway. It's very different than the texture on the First Contact uniforms to the threading, right?
Yes.
But you have to also scale it down.
Yes.
Right, so you're making these decisions on and finding this and choosing stitching that will be represented, shooting pleating here that will be represented at the scale.
Fabric is the most hardest part because we have to find the correct miniature that reflect the correct lighting, that give you the correct color. Yeah. Okay, that's the problem. I have I think I did about 12 colors with Janeway.
As prototypes?
Yeah, about 12 of them, different tone, have different reaction, okay? I look at certain color, it looks good. And then by the time at night, when I look at it, it just looks terrible.
Right.
Okay, because my light surrounding changed.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I find out, I have to go back to the original color. That's the only way. So I start looking for swatches. Okay. That's the only way to go. And that will be a standardized. Because I always say, I'm creating a 1/6 scale museum. I gotta be correct. I mean, museum doesn't make things out of nothing, right? They want artifact, right? We want to recreate them.
And matching that is often difficult because costume designers, when they're sourcing fabric, sometimes they're dyeing their own fabrics.
Yeah, they dye their own fabrics.
And they don't buy spools of stuff that's readily available. They maybe just buy all of one, in the textile world. It's not like unlimited. You can't go back to the past and say, get me a spool of something they used in 1990.
Yes.
They're constantly being changed and refreshed. You have to find it in the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, so you have to do the same thing.
Yeah. Most of these fabrics are plain. We dye to a specific color. Okay. We give them a code. Okay, used to it, we use Used to, I use eyeballs, and then I use cell phone, and then I start using Pantone
swatches.
plastic card.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Plastic cards first, okay, for plastic first, and then
Right.
uncoated, and then now I move on to textile.
Got it.
Okay, only those can give out correct color. Okay,
Yeah.
plastic, they just don't show correctly because the fabric will affect the light.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So this is, I mean, this is what happened to these figures. They all went through the same stage. And you look at the fabric, they're all different.
Yeah. No,
They're
they
actually
are.
different.
They absolutely.
Okay, it
yeah.
looks the same to you, but if you use a magnifier to look at them, they are not just black fabric. I mean, they are not the same.
And there's also a different stretchiness to it, how it actually forms around the body.
Yes.
Obviously, the actors have different bodies, different heights. And I know in the Six Girl world, some companies make their own bodies, some use generic bodies. I look at here, the heights are different, and the body forms are different. And how do you get to the physique of a certain actor?
I have all the plans ready. Okay, I'll order heights calculated. I have a spreadsheet at home of all the actors' weight.
For that episode, for that era.
For the era, okay?
Yeah.
I have all the heights. I mean, we are doing a group of Star Trek figures that will be put together. I don't want everyone looks the same.
Sure.
That's too generic. I mean, we never seen that. We never seen that before, okay? Yeah. You have to register in our mind, okay? So we need to have a correct size. So we design our body basing on this nature, providing that they will have 2 to 3 layers of clothing on top of them. So we have to make adjustment. 90% of Star Trek figures will be wearing uniforms. Okay,
that's right.
So we factor that out.
Right.
Okay,
so it's like you can have a thinner body form.
Thinner body form to facilitate the layers, so they won't be like.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
I don't want Arnold Schwarzenegger, Cisco.
Different type of movie. Yeah.
Something like that. And then we have right now we have 2 bodies. One body specifically made for anything that have more than 2 layers of fabric.
Interesting.
And one is for less than 2 layers. Obviously, that's for toss. Okay.
Yeah.
And they are all able to modulate it. Okay. They have 3 heights.
Oh, so you can add things like ankle
joints. There are 3 different heights. Adding to other adjustments, that means I can create about 12 different heights, body shapes.
Interesting.
Okay. With paddings and other things, okay, I can create more than 12 different body heights and shapes. Wow. So I think I cover 60 to 70% of most male character body shape in Star Trek.
Yeah, and of course you have female ones as well. Yeah. I want to jump into some of the more modern stuff because you're showing some of my favorite, of course, that TNG 90s era. But with your license, you're free to develop characters in all the Star Trek shows.
Yes.
Right? You're talking about even the new ones, Strange New Worlds and Discovery. Here, you have some Discovery characters here in body form. We're talking about like Saru here. He's tall. It's on lifts.
Yes.
So you have to find ways to stretch it out and get this very slender form.
Yes, we have to do some modification on his calves. Okay, we extended it. Okay, and then we extend his arms. Okay, make him longer, and then his torso. We also extended it. This is still, I think, maybe about 4 or 5 millimeters short. Okay, too short. Okay, so we will make him a little taller in production. So
these are the things that matter to you. 0.5 centimeter, 4 or 5 millimeters is absolutely at this scale, is something that you need to compensate and adjust for.
The result might not be like what I want, but I have that focus there. Prime directive, right?
Sure.
We go through that. Whatever we got has to be the best.
Yeah.
Right?
And the costumes here too, there's this whole era of modern costume making. We've talked a lot about it on the show, of how they do silk screening to get different types of texture and reflectivity, which they use here. I remember seeing some of these original costumes. What Michael Burnham and Sir are wearing on the side here. There's a luminescence, the reflectivity to those insignias that are kind of embossed on the side, screen printed on the side. And so capturing all of that as well.
Yes, this one, we took us a month to do that print because we keep pushing the printer smaller, and retain the delta.
Right, yeah.
Until the smallest that we cannot see with our bare eyes. Okay? Then we stop right there. So it's pretty good, I think.
I can see the delta, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This is the best way we can do. We push the printer. Okay, do it. Okay, even though you say you can't, Just do it. Show me.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've been in the world of 6-scale for over a decade now. What has changed in manufacturing that allows you to do things that you couldn't do 10 years ago in terms of accessories, clothing, head sculpts? What's been the best innovation in that space?
3D.
3D printing?
Yeah. I think I'm the first guy who used 3D in production. I'm 3D printed head. I mean, there's a lot of people were playing around with digital head more than 10 years ago, about 10 years ago. Okay, but at that time we were playing around with it. Okay, I'm the first one who used it in production, I think. Okay, 3D. When I brought 3D heads to China, no one looked at them that time because all hand sculpted that time.
Right.
Okay, everything is hand sculpted.
And you're talking about the prototypes, of course. For the manufacturer, these are injection molded. You're tooling, doing tooling for the actual production units. But that allows you to iterate.
Yep. Speed up a lot of process, as you know. So 3D is still the best. And even like the last couple of years, 3D printing.
Yeah.
3D printer.
I see it. I see it in a lot of collectibles companies when they show their prototypes. I recognize that's like a form printer. That's a resin printer here, right? And it's everyone's tapping into these more accessible technologies.
Yes.
So that they can iterate.
Yes. 6 years ago, I have to find a $200,000 printer to have this head printed, and I have to send all the way to Florida to have this print.
Right.
And there's only 4 machines in the entire world that can do that.
Right.
I have to do that for a head. Now you can do it at home.
Right, absolutely. And you can do it remotely. You can work with a modeler, that's not close by. They can send you files. You can correspond with them.
Correct.
Get a prototype printed out. I mean, you have an example here. This is interesting because this is a Picard, the same character, but this is a paint prototype.
Yeah.
And it's not just the paint application that's different. You were telling me the sculpt is slightly different as well.
Yes,
which
different.
In the past, to do a hand sculpted iteration is expensive.
Yes, very expensive. Imagine we send in for approval. And then Mr. Stewart said, "Oh, I don't like the hair." Oh,
right.
I'm in deep trouble. That means I have to sand out the hair and redo the hair. Okay. Oh, he doesn't like the eyebrow. Okay. Now we have a problem.
Right.
Okay.
Because you're going through the stakeholders here, not just the actors, but also it's a living franchise that's still going on.
Yes.
These characters may be coming back at some point, right? So everyone wants to make sure it is that perfect version.
Yeah. I don't really care what they say, but I have to be perfect.
Yeah.
We have to be perfect, okay? I don't really, no matter, even though they say okay with our approval, okay? If I think it's no good, we can stop production, okay? I stop it right there. We stopped a few times already, okay? Because I see something better, okay? So that's the good part about us. We own 60% of the production. We can stop any production. We can start any production at any time we want, as long as we can get all the bit and bits figured out.
Well, that allows you to prototype with things like, we'll talk about some of the accessories here, but let's talk about Locutus, because this is like the star of the show here. I've never seen Locutus at 6-scale. Tell me about the making, the design of this character, and why this one, it's not a standard uniform he's wearing, it's a Borg costume. How you went about this design?
We were joking around first contact version Locutus and the TNG version Locutus. They're different.
Right. The costuming.
Yeah, costuming.
Yeah. The first contact ones were kind of like full body
the newer version
rubber costumes. Yeah.
And there aren't too many available information out there. There weren't any. Okay. But we can see a better Picard. Okay. So we start out with that sculpt, that version. Okay. First contact when you flashback.
Yeah.
Okay. That version of Locutus. But the body we don't have. So we did the TNG version. Okay. And then we changed our mind again. We was about to go into production. We changed our mind. Okay, we need another head. We need a TNG head. Okay. Now we prototype a TNG head. And then now we move to another stage, another problem with Locutus. Now I want Locutus to be better. Okay. As a product, I will have 2 heads. The first contact flashback Locutus head and the TNG Locutus head. And also because lately there's a new company came out with some innovation, and I look at them and I say, oh, we can use that on Locutus. So I will be modifying Locutus neck. So we'll have easy removal to change heads.
Interesting.
Because I'm a collector myself. I break things.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't want them to break Locutus so easily. So make sure they can change it easier. Okay. So I try to look into things from different perspective, like the collector side. So I think Locutus will be a item that no one can miss, especially TNG friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's a defining part of Picard's history, and the fact that you're doing both a first contact head sculpt plus
A TNG.
TNG head sculpt for people to see the evolution of that character.
Yes. And
It's
you look at the
really,
sculpt,
really
it's a different sculpt. It's not like, I just put this one over here.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
they're different.
Yeah, and it goes back to what you said with the set-specific costume accuracy. Even though they're supposed to represent the same character, it's Patrick Stewart playing Locutus again in First Contact, going back into the makeup. So that's what you're representing.
Yes, correct.
Wow, with all the tubes, of course, and even the Borg arm.
Yes. He pretty much finished on prototype, and I look at the TNG version. It's very good. So he'll be available very soon. Oh, his whatever, the scanner lights up.
Oh, all right.
Okay,
a little
that
bit of
lights
functionality
up.
there.
Yeah, that lights up.
Yeah. So I know you're a perfectionist and you're always looking for ways to make it better, but some of these, they have to go out into the world. So for what you're showing at Mission Chicago, what's going to be availability of new figures like these Discovery ones and Locutus?
Okay. In the next month, we will have a few pre-order coming, okay? Obvious. Okay. Cisco.
Yeah.
Okay. We never mentioned them. We're going to have Cisco. And then we have some TOS figures over there.
Yeah, we'll talk about, absolutely.
Okay. And then we will have Disco. And I think maybe a month and a half, we will have Locutus.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And then there's a few more.
A few more that we'll have to wait for. Wait till the rest of this year.
A few more coming.
To see.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Well, Schubert, there's more that we haven't showed yet, and Mission Chicago is going out throughout the entire weekend. So for folks out there, come back tomorrow and we'll have another video diving into some more Star Trek figures from X06. And we're going to talk about some of these diorama pieces as well. But this is a fascinating dive into your mindset, your prime directive, the production expertise, and what goes into prototyping and making six-scale Star Trek figures. Thank you so much, Schubert. Thank you so much for watching out there, and we'll see you very shortly next time.
Bye.